Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to episode 16. Can you believe it? Yes, this is episode 16 of Weekly Mission Report. I'm still blown away that we've been doing this now for 16 consecutive weeks. That is just amazing. If you like these videos, I always encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page. You can follow me on Instagram, and everything is named Flying by Faith. Okay. So this week, it's an amazing week. It had its up moments, its down moments, its very challenging moments, and you have those successful story moments. And so I'm excited to share with you guys this week all the things that transpired. And without further ado, let's just get straight into this week's episode in more details. The week started out very beautiful, just beautiful, amazing week. The weather was just amazing weather when I started out. I transported these two individuals because I had a patient to pick up. So I had them tag along with me to get into that little island called Batanes. The winds were picking up a little bit. You had some weather on the southwest side of the airport, like thunderstorm kind of weather. So fortunately for me, the wind kept everything on that side, which based on the direction of the wind, I anticipated that it would have stayed clear. Worst case scenario, I have so much fuel that I can go to this airport, and if I cannot land, I can fly back to my departure point with no issues at all. After I dropped those stranded persons there, I picked up a patient. Basically, the patient is sitting inside the airplane. It was a stroke patient. This is dad and son, and they were just really happy to be able to tag along with this flight, this medevac flight. After picking up that patient, I was asked to bring this family. It's a family of four: mom, dad, two daughters. I transported them back to their little place in the coastal town, Palan. They were really happy and excited to get home. As usual, I keep saying, when I was flying this mission, the weather was a little challenging to handle and, navigate my way around. But again, this app continues to be my life support out there. I have many different backups, different ways of navigation, and I basically navigated my way around those mountains, and I'm always singing that song. I'll be coming around the mountain. So it was a blessing to have this app again, helping me to be situationally aware, always knowing what's underneath me and what is basically, if I may run into something, I have a lot of time. When I landed at an airport, I picked up this critical patient with an IV. Basically, it's a possible um, he's having challenges where it's possible that some appendicitis may burst, so he had to be rushed out for that. Then we have a pregnant lady, and that's her son, and the one to the right here on the phone is one of the watchers or relative of that. So it was just a huge blessing. This mission was a little challenging because I always put the pregnant lady in front because they're usually the heaviest. So when I'm packing the airplane, the heaviest person will always sit beside me up front. And I remember as soon as I started the engine, every time she cried for the entire flight. And I'm talking about 25-minute flight. She cried the whole time. I don't know why she was crying so much, especially when she looked out the window. So, as a missionary pilot, that it's like, I miss my mom. I see this lady crying. I mean, I was wearing my shades. I didn't cry with her, but I had to like tune her out a little bit and just kind of focus on the mission. And there's a little song in Jamaica that says, "Tears are a language that only God understands." Up to this day, I don't know what was happening with her. Then the lady on the phone, who is a watcher, We landed at base. I dropped them off. They were waiting for the ambulance, so we put them in this little area to rest. And I remember she was on the phone, just in tears a lot. I don't know who she's talking to, but we always pray and hope that the best outcome will be of their situation. I had a scheduled flight. Basically, it's to transport 7 health workers that will be going into Palan, a small coastal town, primarily to collect blood. So, I'm transporting a lot of patients from these areas. When they go to the hospital, many times they need blood. So, to keep replenishing the blood supply, every now and then a team will go in and ask the residents or the citizen of that area to come out in their numbers and donate as much blood as they can. And so I had a team of 7. This is two of them. Pretty much, this flight was a little historical because this passenger was the biggest I've transported so far. I'm not going to tell you guys his weight, but he's the biggest I've ever transported so far. So they were really grateful. So that's two of them. And then what I was doing was, when I transport them from Kauai Airport to where they're gonna do the collection of blood, on my way back, I would be empty. So there were non-critical patients that tagged along on the flight. Because, one thing with us, we don't like to fly an empty airplane, except for when there's a critical emergency patient in real severe conditions and we need to go empty, we'll go. But on the other times when they're stable, they're in the hospital or they're at home, we like to just attach other missions. So the airplane is usefully used going and coming back. So when I take two DOH workers or Department of Health workers to go in to collect the blood on my way out to get the other members of the team, I would bring patients. So these are non-critical patients tagging along on that return leg as I go to pick up other workers. We have 3 here. They're like millennials. They have their phone and they want to take pictures with me and so on. And when I have weather dealing with, sometimes I don't want to be a snob, but I have to remember my first priority is to fly the airplane. So when it comes to like pictures, there's times when I cannot look at their camera because like I just took off. I'm cleaning up the airplane. I'm retracting my flaps. I'm pulling back my RPM, etc. So when I'm pretty busy and I have people like these, they can become a distraction and they don't even know. So I have my shades on, and even if my head is turned towards your camera, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and they just take their pictures. And when I used to fly with my friends in the States, they all have headset, but here in the Philippines, I don't have the luxury of giving each person that I fly with a headset so I can talk to them. But if I had those, I would tell them, hey, I'm focusing now on flying the airplane, so do your pictures and do whatever you got to do. I have a job to do here, etc. So this was a second group. I transported 3 of them together. So 3 plus 2, that's 5. And then we had 2 more. So on my way out to get the last 2, I transported this lady with her baby. So I think the baby is the patient going out to get some checkup. And it was a blessing to transport her. And then here's the other 2. I would say the one in the yellow shirt is very immaculate. He's just excited. He wants to, everything I touch, he would look at it, and he's like that. So they were pretty much excited to get to their destination. And I always like to fly millennials. They come in the airplane with this energy. You get to enjoy the flight with them, etc. So I dropped that team off. Then after doing that, I was asked to transport another patient again in Batanes. So basically, on my way there, I picked up this stranded individual, transported him. He was pretty quiet. He's young millennial. He would take a photo or two and a little video now and then he would go off to sleep. I don't know, maybe he had a rough night, but he slept for most of the flight. So he would wake up, take a picture, look out, okay, we're not there yet, takes his picture, and then he goes back to sleep, etc. So we have a patient here that was supposed to go in for a surgery. I don't know the details of the surgery, but he is scheduled for a surgery, and I picked him up along with a passenger, and that's his wife, I believe, tagging along with him. And if I zoom in here, this is oh nice, it's an SNR bag. It's actually focusing on the specimen from the hospital. So my very good friend, now we're getting acquainted with each other more and more each flight. Nurse Shona from the Batanes, I think it's Batanes General Hospital. She always messaged me on Facebook, up, when are you coming? I would like to send you some specimen. And I got some good news, because when I bring people in and they do the swab test and the blood test, etc., now they kind of bank on the flight to transport it when I get there, take it to the Tugigarao, the Tugigarao, where it will be analyzed. And she messaged me this week saying that, Cap, good news. None of the persons that came in who were tested were positive. So Batanes is still somewhat COVID free at this time. No, there's an amazing additional story to this family, in that usually when I land to drop them off, and he basically came straight out of the hospital. He could walk, he can walk around, look fairly strong, but I don't know, when we landed, I said to them, usually an ambulance would come to pick them up. I didn't see any ambulance. So I inquired to them, ma'am, sir, are you going to be transported to the hospital in a private vehicle? They said no. They said they're going to be doing public commute, which is taking a tricycle. And I'm thinking, I have been stranded in this area. Tricycles don't come to the airport. So I quickly picked up on what was happening, and I took it upon myself to basically, I rushed. I helped them with their luggage to go in the arrival area, and they sat in the waiting area, and I walked for about 5 to 7 minutes, went to an intersection, flagged down two tricycles, because with the social distancing, it's three of them. The gentleman on the right, he's a former police officer, I was told. So with the tricycle setup, only two maximum can be on a tricycle. So I had to get two, one for the passenger and one for the patient and the watcher. So they ended up taking public commute. And, I'll be honest, going that extra mile, I got a message from someone saying, I am one of the sister of that patient, and thank you for going beyond your job call of duty to help my family to get to the hospital. And for me, it's just being keen, realizing what is the environment. When I drop a patient off, I follow up who is transporting them, where's the ambulance, is it going to be a private vehicle, etc. So I did send, and I don't just fly the airplane, because a lot of times I get people asking me, what does it take to be a missionary pilot? What is the life like as a missionary pilot? And so I share these things not to promote self or to exalt myself, but it's for those who are inquiring about mission aviation, or they want to be a missionary pilot, and they want to have an idea, what is the day like, what are the activities like, what are the duties like, etc. And this one, you have to be keen and observant of your environment. You can figure out and be willing now, when the passengers or patients are having challenges with public transportation, how can you help them? So for me, I was stranded in this area, and I know a little about how to take public transportation. So that experience in the past gave me an opportunity to just put into practice what I have learned, and it was a blessing to be of help to that family. I went out one particular day this week. So one whole day I couldn't fly, so I took the opportunity to go do some gardening and cut some grass around the hangar, etc. But this route is this is showing you how bad the weather picked up. So it was clear enough to leave. I got to my destination, which is Palanan, right here. Then all hell broke loose. I could not see to land that airplane in that area. The visibility dropped, the weather kicked in, so I had to abandon the mission and keep going. I went towards an area that had better weather, but even though I had mission requests from this area, I couldn't do it because there was just no way I could get out. So I had to navigate my way some more around these buildups, around these thunderstorm, heavy rain, etc. So I had to navigate around that. And finally, I couldn't come home. So 28 nautical miles, I couldn't come home. I'm gonna zoom in here to show you guys. I was texting back at base, and they said, no, you can't come back here. The weather just deteriorated. We can't see the mountain. The visibility has dropped. It's overcast at 500 feet. So on days like this, I always have extra fuel and I always have multiple backup plans. I could have landed here to the north into Gigaral. That's my alternate. I've been in there many times. It was nice, beautiful weather in that area. And then this one, Kawayan, was my other alternate. So I landed there and I basically got stuck for the night in that airport. The next day, I went out and I took a little selfie here with Doc. Doc is the one that is coordinating this med missions in collecting the blood. I think she hosted the team, make sure they were fed and housed, and she was a part of that meeting. And she's one of my followers on Instagram. So whenever I saw her, man, millennial moment. Let's take a photo together as we were getting the mission done. Um, I finished the week basically. That picture is too early. Okay, we'll come back to that. The order got a little mixed up. Anyways, so the team did a very good job. I was told that they were able to get over 200 units of blood was donated. That's a lot of blood. Total like 300 something pounds basically with the equipment and everything. So, anyways, I started transporting the team little by little. I got them out. This was their ride, and we took a little group pictures, all of us together. And so, the mission was pretty much successful. The blood came out, the team members came out, and then after I was finished helping those individuals, again, when I picked them up to take them out, on my way in, I would be empty. So I was helping DOH work. I mean, this is an LGU worker, a local government unit worker. This was a patient before, and the watcher here is the dad. So they were able to get back home, and that's what inside that ambulance looked like with all the equipment and all the blood, etc. And all these millennials, they always enjoy the trip, they always enjoy the flight, and it's always a blessing. So for those who are wondering what was happening with the weather this week, basically back in flight training time when I was a student, we learned about different pressure systems. So you have high pressure and you have low pressure. The low pressure, to remember it, we use the L to be Lucifer. It's devilish weather. When this thing begins to create havoc, you have strong winds, right? And as you can see, for those who are pilots, the isobars, they're close to each other. When that happens, that means the velocity of the wind will pick up. The wind is stronger. So you're going to have 25, 30 knot wind dealing with. So not only are you going to be in bad weather, you're going to be in strong winds coming with those weather, patterns and so on. So Lucifer came through this week and it really created havoc. When it's a high pressure system, you're going to have good visibility. It's just going to be hot and you have turbulence. But I would rather be hot and bumpy than to have calm. Yeah, Lucifer is never good. Heavenly stuff, which is high pressure system, is way better to uh, handle as a pilot. And that's what the radar showed, just pouring heavy rain, just asking you to come out today if you want to die, basically. So when I saw this, I just said nope. I had to turn down all those missions. My contacts were texting me, how is the weather now? I said, we got to give this thing time. It's not burning off quickly, it's not changing anytime soon. So, for a day and a half, actually 2 days total this week, I was not able to fly. But when the weather got better, I had multiple returning patients. This one was nice because I had a lot of babies. They were crying, making all kind of noise. But those cries for me, those are cries that makes me smile. I kept looking at them. Oh, these babies are so cute. Why? Mothers in these areas don't have ultrasound machine. Some of them are in areas that doesn't even have a hospital. So when they're having complicated birth situation, I get a call. I always prioritize them because I know they don't have other options. There's no boats going. They don't have a public vehicle road option. So I always go in and help them. And then when it's time to take them back home, you see that little cute face and you know that the mission was successful. They went out, even if some of them have to do a C-section, at least the baby got out. So every time I see a mother with a baby, it warms my heart to know that the flight to take them out was a success. And then here I am now bringing them back home so they can join and unite with their family. And I feel so blessed because I get to see the baby before their other families. You know, the watcher gets to see it. Maybe I don't know if they could send pictures back home, but I enjoy these moments when I take mothers with their babies going back home. Another success story here. This wasn't a newborn, but she was able to get out, have the baby, get some checkup, etc. And it's time to go back home. And that's Pastor Mel with the son of one of the former mayor. As a matter of fact, it's his dad that helped me. He picked me up from the airport when I got stranded and took me to a hotel. So it's always a blessing to work with that family where I help them, they help me, etc. We have that relationship going. I remember he was asking me, Cap, how many horsepower does your airplane have? And I was sharing with him, and he's like, hey, Cap, yesterday I saw your vlog. So I know he's one of my followers on my Facebook page. I think his name is CJ. So, CJ, just want to say, have a good weekend. Thanks to you and your dad again for helping me out this week when I was stranded in that airport. So again, nice babies coming home. So the week was really busy. Basically, I should flip back right here. This one. Yes. So the week basically finished where I didn't have enough fuel for one more mission yesterday. So the rainy days created a buildup of requests, and I could not finish the mission yesterday. I had these moms with their babies wanting to go back home, but I didn't have the fuel, I didn't have the time. So I came home and I was just a little concerned. I keep thinking about their faces and I say, well, we don't fly on Sabbath unless it's life threatening. We don't offer our services on Sabbath, except for life threatening cases. But I was thinking, weather did not permit these individuals to go home. And what's the joy and purpose of the Sabbath? So I talked with my director and I said, I didn't get to finish the mission because of time and fuel. And I'm thinking, the request is there for these pregnant women to go home. And I have mothers that gave birth pregnant women that wants to come out for the hospital and mothers that gave birth that wants to go back home. I was told that they're running out of food. They're having challenges with housing. They're in an uncomfortable situation. And my heart was just moved with compassion for these people. So I got confirmation from my director that it's okay to do that flight on the Sabbath. So I put on my barong and my mask, and I told them to meet me here early in the morning. And they came at 5:30 a.m. They showed up at the airbase. The plane was already prepped and ready. So I brought these two actors back home. So you have an actor, you have regular Filipino and the husband, and I was able to take them back home. They were my patient before, and so it's a blessing for them to go back home. And um, I wouldn't take the airplane out for a flight on the Sabbath just to enjoy nature, but Sabbath missions is what I really love. And for those who are Adventists who might question our decision to help people on the Sabbath, go to Last Day Events book, and you will find a quote there that says, God will not hold him guiltless who refused to relieve the sick and the suffering upon the Sabbath. Jesus himself taught the people back in his days, it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. So it was a blessing to help them. And I just saw the joy and the comfort on their faces. So if I may go fast forward back to here we go. So I took this video because, as a black person, these are the native Filipinos. They are looked down the most. They are treated with a lot of prejudice from people. I've heard stories where some of them, the locals who didn't like them because they're darker, some say they have a certain smell, etc. They don't have much money, they don't have much work. And so, like, my contact, Mom Wing Corpus, she's the president of these people who it's her job to make sure that when they're sick, there's money, there's transportation, and we partner with her with the airplane to help these people who are isolated and just left at the mercy of society. And for me, being a black person, whenever they see me, I can tell they're a little more comfortable because the lighter skinned Filipinos, they give them a hard time. And there are times where I am being treated, I get the treatment like these people. Sometimes my wife and I, we go to the mall, we separate from each other, and I'm in an area and people begin to gossip and prejudice and sometimes racial comments and jokes about me, not knowing that my wife is beside them, understanding their language, and she will say, ah, these people are so pangit in their behavior, so ugly. So when I see them and I get an opportunity to help them, I really know the struggle and the frustration that they go through as individuals. But nonetheless, we don't join with the majority who will ridicule and make fun of these people. We partner with Mam Wing and the government to make sure that when they are sick, they get the same treatment like anyone else. So this was the patient that came out. It's two patient, one watcher. And again, it was a blessing to wear my church clothes. I was supposed to be headed to church on the Sabbath, but instead I had an opportunity to go out and enjoy nature at 3,500 feet, helping people to get home because it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. And it was one of the best missions for me ever to transport these individuals. Again, my motto, do the work and God will provide the means. I have some awesome, I got a message just now that blew my mind away. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to show you a picture, but you have to stay tuned for episode 17. I hope by episode 17, I don't know, but there's an episode coming where I'm going to be sharing some amazing, amazing, amazing news with you. Until then, I continue to do the work and allow God to provide the means. Just this week, I was reflecting on my table. I'm vegan. I strive to eat healthily because my patients and passengers deserve to have a pilot not out there flying, wondering if at what point I'm going to get a heart attack or high blood pressure or being diabetic or I don't have the strength to lift things that's heavy, etc. So I eat very healthily, but it comes at a price. Many times I don't have the time to go to the market. Sometimes my wife herself is busy and we kind of run low on fruits and vegetables. But when I do the missions, I am so blessed to get fruits and fresh vegetables that I mostly fruits from the individuals that I help. So they don't give me financial tips at work, but I get fruit tips at work. And sometimes I've gotten vegetables as well. Just this week, someone gave me a jar of, I think, a strawberry jam. I haven't tried it yet, but it was just a blessing to be able to sit at my table. Not only that, oftentimes my flight require me to leave home very early. Sometimes I I start the engine at 5:30 in the morning. The sun is up. I don't want to wait until it's hot. The weather changes at 12 o'clock. So it's not a lot of times during the week I can sit at my table and enjoy a sumptuous meal with the wife, etc. Sometimes, most times rather, I eat breakfast in flight on my way to help others. And then growing up for me, many times I've gone to my bed hungry. I know what hunger feels like. So as I sat at my table this week when the rain didn't allow me to fly, I just sat at my table saying, Lord, I am really grateful for food being on my table. Not just any food, but the best fruits, grains, nuts, wholesome food. So even though I don't receive a salary, I don't get a paycheck, I don't have anyone that I can guarantee I can just ask for money for my personal needs, God continues to provide for me enough finances where I can keep my table replenished with wholesome meals and food that keeps me healthy and strong to do my duties as a missionary pilot. So I shared this post this week on my Facebook page, just encouraging others to know that, hey, you might be thinking, and many people will ask me, how can I be a missionary pilot and not get a salary? How can I survive? Well, I can tell you, I have been doing missionary work since 2011. I became a full time missionary doing the work, and I have so many stories and experiences where God continues to provide the means, even if it's just mere food on my table. So, again, we are so grateful to you for your donation to us. You have been sending us donations, you have been sending emails, you have been subscribing, you have been sharing the contents. I'm getting the thumbs up, I'm getting the comments. People are watching from Jamaica, from Canada, from the US, all over the world. And again, I keep saying, just comment below and tell me where are you watching from. So for all those who are watching from Jamaica and from Canada, from the US, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support, your donations. Without you partnering with us, there is no way we could be able to do what we do. So let me just give you a summary of letting you know where your prayers and your support went to this week. Just this week, um, I was flying for at least it was 20 hours and 40 minutes flight time this week. 18 passengers, stranded family members, local government workers, police officers, etc., students alike. 18 of them were able to get to their destination safely. I had 10 returning patients, which is 10 successful stories. They got out, they got their treatment, they gave birth, and they were able to return home successfully to be with their family and friends again. 10 of them were able to be helped. There are 8 patients that was transported this week. They are in the hospital now. Maybe some might be undergoing surgery, some are in evaluation, I don't know. But 8 people that was sick, they now have an opportunity to be getting better medical care as a result of your prayers and your support. 13 family members, we call them watchers. It's the one who assists the patients. 13 of them this week were able to be transported. I used 215 gallons of fuel, and the blood bank here in this side was replenished with 216 units of blood was successfully collected and transported and is now in the refrigeration at the hospital waiting for patients who are in need of blood. Not only that, beloved friends, not only that, um, I am happy right now, and I'll tell you why I'm happy. The mission I did today on the Sabbath just brought me to 500 hours of flight time total. Yes, friends, 500 hours of flight time. The mission today, during that 500 hours of from the first day I went to flight school, started getting my training. Then 2 years ago, I got my license. Now I have reached 500 hours. And just this week, I was telling my wife that the experience is building where I'm getting this kind of proficiency with the airplane. And I was telling her, I can now like put it on the runway wherever I want. So if I say I'm gonna put it down on the numbers, I'm able to put it down on the numbers. And I'm so humbled and blessed to be a part of this aviation ministry. Not only that, since I've been flying with Philippines Adventist Medical Aviation Services 2 years ago, I have helped 100 and 66 patients total. 166 patients total. Since the COVID lockdown, which is April 16th, when I started on this new airplane, since April 16th to current, I have flown 158 patients and I have logged 279 hours on this new airplane. Why am I sharing these statistics with you? This is as a result of your prayers, your support, your donation. Countless people are benefiting from the simple efforts that I can do in doing the work and allowing God to provide the means. So, on behalf of Philippines Adventist Medical Aviation Services, this week was power packed. Next week, there's pending requests. Tomorrow, I already have scheduled flights, etc. And the requests sometimes can be overwhelming. The work can be overwhelming. But you know what keeps me going? Your prayers and your support. Those private messages you send me in my inbox each week, telling me you look forward to coming home and you read my posts and you watch my video. Each day when I'm taking these videos and pictures, it is my way of saying, this is what your support is going towards. So when we bring home a pregnant lady, it's not just for my personal glory. It's me bringing home something that all of us can celebrate and join with. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comment. And I look forward to sharing with you more of what we have been doing as we see God provide the means. Mabuhay from the Philippines. Salamat po, salamat po. Thank you guys very much. And we look forward to see you on the next episode where it promises to be good. God bless and take care from the Philippines.